This is Life in Color. I'm presenting this amazing series I put together. Hopefully you enjoy it. We went out, we talked to some people that have some tattoos. We found out the meaning behind them, where they got them, why they like them, and just sort of their different views about tattoos. I know I had a load of fun shooting this, and I hope you enjoy it as well. My main man, Jordan Sommer. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, JT?
Doing all right. All right, so let's get started. Obviously, you have your entire sleeve done.
I do.
It's one of the most. It's one of the more. I don't want to say mesmerizing ones I've seen so far. Because I've interviewed some people like they got stuff all over, but like you, I was just one solid piece.
You're so cute.
I try, man. If you want to get started, man, I mean, just what's the meaning behind it? And honestly, how long did that take to do?
It's a long process. Actually, these are my first tattoos. Let me start there.
Okay.
These are my first two. When I was younger, I was dumb, and I was in like hardcore youth crews and stuff like that. And one thing led to another where like I got high enough and all that kind of good shit, and then I had to get my tattoos. Just saying like I've been straight edge for so long, like no drinking, no smoking, all that kind of good stuff, and I decided to, instead of getting all 3 X's, I wanted to get 2 because I had plans for my third one, but I never got it done. But the way it started was these are the papal keys. It's from the Vatican. So when a pope dies, what they do is they lock them into a room until they come up with a decision. So it's like you have to make the decision. You know what I mean? You can't leave. You can't do anything until you make that decision.
Okay.
So this is kind of about making a really, really bad decision, like one of those things where it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't type deal. Mm-hmm. So why not remind myself of that? I put myself in that position. So
definitely.
This one here, to mix things, but overall, it's two safety pins and an X. And before one of my really, really close friends was shot, he covered my hoodie with safety pins as like a joke. Okay. So like I went to put it on afterward with all the safety pins on it, and it was like chainmail.
There was no way you're getting that thing on.
Yeah. So it's like kind of in memory of them. I got those. It's just another reminder why I don't do any of that stuff. Yeah. But the sleeve is a completely different story.
Definitely got some hours in the chair, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
Couple hours, anyways.
So it started with just the ivy leaves, with the moth and the flies and everything like that. But it started strictly ivy. So once you get to the detail on it, there's actually the life cycle of a moth. I have the flies, there's the wood, the stone. This is hard to explain, but I'll get to that. But you have the eggs, the larva, the pupa, and then the moth itself.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
So it's all hidden in there, and then also it's the life cycle of, from spring to fall.
Oh, okay.
So
that's awesome. Oh, yeah.
It started with just the leaves. It was just black and white. I was like hanging out down on 6th Avenue in New York, and I was looking for work, and I ended up hanging out at this tattoo parlor. The way it started was I went into every tattoo parlor on that block, and I was like, hey, how much for this? How much for this? Each one, they're like, they didn't even hear what I had to say, and they're like, well, if it's quarter sleeve, it's $900. Damn. It's like I want somebody who like puts time and effort into it. So I go in, and like this next shop I go into is right next to IFC Theater, and I was like I walk in, and there's this short little pale dude, and he's like, hey, what's up, bro? You want a tattoo? And I'm like, yeah,
hell yeah,
in a tattoo parlor. So we get talking, and I started telling him like I want like ivy leaves for this reason, this, and he's like, dude, that's real sweet, bro. That's real sweet. And he's like, let's do this. So he pulls out paper, starts doodling, and I had an appointment set for the next week. He charged me like $350 for just the black and white on the leaves.
Okay.
And of course, like the branches.
Vines, yeah.
Well, vines, yeah. So it was expensive to begin with, but I started getting really close to the guy. His name is Herschel Kovacs.
Okay.
So at first I didn't know where he was from. He had a really weird accent. He talked like this, so I thought maybe he was from like Eastern Europe or something.
Yeah.
And then I like one day I had the courage and I was like, yo, Herschel, where are you from, man? He's like, I'm from Mexico City. And I'm like, oh my God. It made sense all of a sudden, you know what I mean?
All of a sudden, yeah.
And the whole thing down in Mexico City, the tattoo culture is completely different. If you go in and you tell them you want a specific thing, they kind of take it as like an insult because it's art. You know what I mean?
Okay.
At least that's the way he described it to me. So when I told him I wanted the ivy, I was very open. I was like, yeah, I want ivy, but like I want you to do what you want. This is your art, you know. And he took to that really well. That's why he gave me such a low price.
Okay.
And we started working on like other pieces. So then we added on the centipede, the bird of paradise, the cicada, the stink pots, the lotus, the ghost orchid, and all that kind of stuff. We did all that black and white at first, and like the shading, and and then by that time I was already living upstate again. So I kept going down and going back to work on it. So it took a lot of sessions. I'm gonna say probably 7 or 8 sessions.
Damn.
And
how long were you at each session? How long do you think you were?
8 to 10 hours.
Each session?
Each session. The longest hour I did was like, I was there from 9 a.m. until I think it was like 3 in the morning.
Wow.
That was because it was the last session and I wanted it done. He moved back to Mexico City.
That's right.
So I wanted to make sure it was done. So he did everything. Like he filled in all the color and everything like that. He went over my wrist 1,000,000 times. But yeah, he tried to do everything he could within like one session.
Wow.
Like we already had a lot of color, but he just put in the final pieces.
Okay.
You know? But there's a lot more that goes into it than
Yeah.
it looks. You know, there's a
definitely.
ton of detail in this thing, and I love him for it because he took the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall I would say this cost me like $1,800.
Damn.
But if you were to go down to New York City and get a full sleeve and full color, you're looking at almost like $10K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like at some points he was just like, yo bro, just come hang out, we'll do tattoo. You know what I mean? Like I was at one point he's like, come play Red Dead Redemption. So I went down and I was playing the Western game, you know. And he's just like, hey man, I have an idea. You care if I do it? I'm like, go ahead, you know, free work. Yeah. So I bought him dinner and we called it even, you know.
There you go. Hell yeah, dude. So looking back, I mean, was it worth it for the $1,800? Do you think?
Yeah, I consider him.
I don't know, kind of a dumb question.
Yeah, I consider him probably one of my best friends.
Oh yeah.
And to have one of my best friends' art forever tattooed on me is like I would pay way more than $1,800. Don't tell him that.
No, I don't think that. No, I do have that right on your elbow. I see a little guy etched in there. Any meaning behind him, or just
Pachacamac? He's an Incan god of creation.
Oh, okay.
He was a dragon, and he doesn't look like he looks like a dog.
Yeah, kind of like dog.
That's the traditional. Thing. That's the traditional style, though.
Okay.
So the way he created the earth, and he gave life to man and woman, and he gave them a garden to have food from, and all I had to do was go out there, get it, and then make the food, right? One day the woman asked for more, like, why should we have to go out to the garden? You're so powerful, why don't you just like give us food? Why do we have to go out and hunt, you know? So over the night Pachacamac killed the man, used his body as fertilizer for the garden so that it would be so plentiful they didn't have to worry.
Damn.
So but that was the whole point, was entitlement. Human beings are naturally entitled and selfish, and I feel like it's our duty as intelligent beings to not be that way. I mean, we live in a country that's so full of opportunity, so much money, and over like we have so much food and everything, but there's still people going hungry every day, and it's all because of dumb reasons. So.
Okay, that's cool. Now, I do have that because obviously I'm sure you got the did it hurt question obviously when you were getting stuff done. Was that the worst part?
No.
Where do you think on the entire sleeve, what was the most painful to sit through?
That's tough. This was the worst.
Right there, okay.
Right in the, I don't know what to call it.
Yeah,
I'm going to call it the crotch.
Close enough.
This was by far and away the most painful.
Okay.
And he did his best not to be in there too long, but...
When you even have detail just on that, so I'm sure he was in there for a while.
It's hard to explain, but like, with most of the tattoo across my arm, like I could kind of filter out the pain and like watch SVU or play a video game or something.
Okay.
But with that part,
Nothing.
It was like the worst pain.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been burnt, I've been stabbed, I've been cut, and
nothing compares to that. Huh?
Nothing compares to that. That one's the worst. So, other than that though, the wrist is pretty tough. Like right in here is pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
That plus he's very big on getting a lot of color, so he goes over it and over it.
Okay, so he just keeps going. Okay.
So like if you look, like I have the pink and then the purple down in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Right,
yeah.
but that pink, it's a mixture of all the colors. Like see how it fades in.
Yeah.
That took him probably like 3 times, like 3 sessions. So he did like all these different pieces over the course of like different sessions.
Oh, okay, right. Obviously, as you are going into the professional world, you have this entire thing. I've seen you obviously before. You have usually always covered up. Do you still feel that there is a negative connotation towards tattoos in the professional world?
Yes and no.
Okay.
In the arts, not really so much. But when I was in New York, shortly after getting my sleeve finished up, I went to like a professional. It was in like modeling. I'm not a model at all. But I happened to be at like this meeting where there's a lot of like agents and models, and they were like the higher ups of society. I mean, there's people dressed like punks, but they weren't punk. You know what I mean? So I thought I was welcome there, and then they saw this, and they kind of like were a little iffy about it. They like thought like, yo, who's this kid?
Yeah.
But what really got him was my scars, like on my hands,
Oh, okay.
like, from tons of other things. But I've had it a lot where people see the tattoos and they instantly think, like, not thug, but they think like, oh, he thinks he's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I get singled out sometimes. If I'm at a bar or something back home, they instantly go for the dude with the sleeve rather than, you know.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. Like, you definitely get the looks and you definitely feel it, but it's nothing that you can openly say, like, these people are being, you know, mean to me because I have tattoos. It's not like that at all.
Yeah.
But I do cover it up, but that's just a formality. Like, I want to be professional. Like, you know, my bosses took a chance on me in general, not because I have tattoos or clothes, but they took a chance on me in general, like giving me a chance at a job. So I want to make sure that I perform up to their standards.
Definitely.
So I'm gonna dress very, very professionally. So. There have been times where I've like rolled up my sleeves and stuff.
Yeah.
Most times it's after the fact. Like people get to know me and everything, and then I'll roll up the sleeve and they'll be like, "Oh, no way!"
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "Oh, that's cool. What's this?"
And then you get the whole thing. Yeah.
And then they're really like they really let it go. I think that if you just ask people, you know, why did you get the tattoo? That'll give you more insight into the person than you looking at the tattoo and judging them from afar. Yeah. So.
Now, you mentioned earlier about the 3 X's. You had plans for a third one. Do you still have those plans? And what are those plans for that third one?
Actually, believe it or not, instead of doing the X, I'm going to be doing the Mason, like the square and compass.
Okay.
It's a long story, but I'm going to be getting it roughly right here.
Okay, so you got one just sort of right across. I like that.
Yeah, and I was going to have... Like, this isn't set in stone. If I ever do it, because I feel like I'm cheating on my tattoo artist.
I say, you and I were talking about that off camera. Like, you said just the amount of work is just like... It's
tribalistic almost. Like, it's a rite of passage. Like, if you get this much work done and you cover this much of your skin, you feel completely different afterward.
Yeah.
So, like, I would feel wrong going to a different artist because he's done so much for me. You know? Yeah. So, but yeah, I wanted to get like an ink print of my father's hand.
Oh, okay.
And have that just right here in the dead center of my chest.
Oh, okay.
Because like my dad's hand is massive.
He's got the bear claws.
He's a big burly dude. But he's a teddy bear, you know.
Yeah.
And just how much I love and respect my pops and my mom too. Like almost all, like half of these are from my mom. So.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, like I wanted to get something for my dad. Okay. Like, so I figured I'd put that right in the dead center. You know?
Oh yeah, I like it. Now, you're probably not going to advise someone to go out for their first one and get an entire sleeve done. But what would your advice be to someone if they're just getting their first tattoo? What would you say to them?
I tell everybody the same thing. No offense. Yeah. Don't get words.
Don't get words. Yeah, unfortunately, that's all I have is a crap load of words. So.
some people, it's good. It's just I can't do words on my body, so I kind of push that on other people. You know,
like me, like I said, I got a lot of words, so.
Yeah, I would suggest finding a piece of art or a symbol of some sort that really means a lot to you. Not some Chinese or Asian, because you're not deep, because you have some type of Asian philosophy you believe in. Everybody has that.
Yeah.
But I think if you find something that means a lot to you and you get it tattooed on you, but you don't give it like boundaries, like you tell your artist like, hey, I want this kind of a flower, but do your thing. I want to see what comes out. Not only will it make your artist much happier, they'll be proud to put it on you, and you'll be happier the way it comes out, because you're going to be picturing in your mind one thing, and then you're going to get a different thing, because this isn't paper, you know, this is skin, this is completely different. So things look very different. The only reason why I advise against text is because, one, when it fades, it looks kind of choppy, and you have to get it touched up a lot. And two, because if I were to go into any other country, they can look at my arm and be like, oh, that's a lotus, or that's a cicada. Instead of me having words, and they have to ask like to translate. You know, this is translatable. If that makes sense.
Okay. So. Yeah, definitely. So you gonna get the other arm done or no? or is this about it? Like, I know you said, obviously you're hesitant on going to a different artist, but
if someday in the future, if Herschel either comes back to America, like he left for the same reasons I got this. It's I mean, you wouldn't know he's Mexican, but he's Mexican.
Yeah.
And he just does not like American culture.
Oh, okay.
So I don't blame him. But,
I don't really blame him for leaving. Yeah.
But if I ever make enough money that I could just visit Mexico City, I must be making enough money to be able to drop another $2,000 for him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him way more, but I want him to cover me.
Yeah.
I want this arm finished. I want my chest. I want my neck.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why I wouldn't take you for the neck. I don't know why.
Everything.
Okay.
It's.
Now wait. What about like your hands and stuff?
I would love it. The only thing is I have a lot of scars, so that makes me worry about this.
Yeah.
He's tattooed over scars, and you can't tell because it's like roughly the same color, but right there's a scar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I see a little bit.
Yeah, so like I'm a little iffy about doing over scars, but I think the only words I would ever get put on my body are optimist.
Okay.
In cursive.
Optimist.
So optimist would fit across the
well, yeah.
But I want it in cursive.
Okay.
So it's a little different.
That's kind of cool.
Totally stealing that from one of my favorite rappers.
There you go. Yeah.
But either way.
Obviously, you're a big music guy.
Yeah.
But would you ever think of putting lyrics or anything like that on you?
A lot of these are lyrics.
Okay.
A little self-centered, but they are they're lyrics that I either wrote or something that pertains to someone. So when my friend got killed, he was a nocturnal. You know what I mean? He never slept. So
damn. Okay.
I always made kind of like a metaphor for him in that he was like a moth. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like people loved him. He was an amazing kid, but they always thought he was kind of weird because he never slept. But I just said he was a moth. He's a butterfly that can't sleep. You know what I mean?
Ah, okay.
And
I like that. So
somehow it turned into like
get the entire life cycle.
yeah. But the flies is like another part of it. Like he's a moth among flies. Okay. So it's just like people. I mean, where we're from is really kind of grungy and crappy.
Okay.
So to say that he wasn't the greatest, but he was better than a lot of the people where we're from. So and the fact that he's gone, it just it's another reason why I got it. So he's with me all the time.
Oh yeah.
The ivy is because like when my parents got split up, through thick and thin, my mom, like my family, despite being like split up, they're actually like really tight. So it's weird. Like my dad and my mom are friends, even though they're divorced.
Yeah.
Dad hits my mom. Really weird. But with my mom, she had this house down in Prospect, in Herkimer, and there was ivy all climbing all up the side of it, right?
Okay.
And I just remember going through some really tough times, like after my mom left, and I always blamed her for it. And then one day I just went to her house and we talked, and I realized it was nobody's fault.
Yeah.
And as like almost like a reminder myself not to judge so quickly. Get the ivy leaves. And plus it's just a statement, like the ivy, no matter how crappy the weather is, no matter how much rain, no matter how much wind, it's always climbing the side of her house. So yeah. That's
awesome, dude. I like it. Well, thank you very much, sir, for joining me. Good luck, and hopefully your guy comes back.
Yeah, I guess so.
Thank you so much, man.
No problem, man.